When I first saw this photo, the only thought that I had is, essentially, if I had JetBlue money, honestly, I would probably just move closer to the urban downtown area of the city I come out of, or the uh, metro area that I am a resident of. Looking at this photo, I just I'm a native of Oregon and really more particularly of Portland proper itself, born up at, Providence, St. Vincent's, and everything, a hospital back in 1986. And so, I'm looking at this photo and I see hell on earth. I don't see something that I romanticize. And it doesn't come from a place of not of ignorance either. I mean, I've been out there on the country. I've spent time there. I have relatives in Texas and everything, and they live pretty far away from civilization, for the simple reason that ultimately it's cheaper the further out you go and everything. Like Gun Barrel, Texas, literally for a lot of moms, brothers, and really the surviving members of her family and everything. And, I look at this and, you know, I don't feel envy. I really just yawn, boring. And I also see the sheer number of children, and I think, God, that poor woman. That's the other thing that goes to my head is just, man, like raising two or three is already hard enough, but let's just add eight, a bunch of queerful cultists here and everything is the other thought that I'm having. I can't imagine that being an enjoyable life at all, really. I mean, and I hear that she gets so tired sometimes that she sleeps for weeks on end and everything, and or days and days and days on end and everything. She's so exhausted and everything, and I just yeah, I'm supposed to. I mean, this is what's being foisted up as something to aspire to. I'm like militantly anti cottagecore at this point because like if there was a sudden and dramatic reversal of fortunes where like I came into a windfall of like massive profits that catapulted me into like the 1%. You want to know where I'd live? Ultimately. You know what is so appealing about, the West Hills, in that area in Portland?
All right, so I'm just walking out of the New Seasons over here in Raleigh Hills, and in today's video we're going to do another driving tour, and I've gotten some requests from folks on video to other people because they're like, oh, this person's watching the whole video.
This is not far at
Ooh, here's a
all,
house for sale.
right here in this area. It looks like a wealthy area, right? But it's not far ultimately from downtown, literally, and literally up in the action where all the stuff in downtown Portland happens.
Kind of a tri-level mid-century vibe. We're coming up on a family football game over here, looks like. This is just, everyone's kind of out for the holidays. You got
It may seem like you're actually far from downtown Portland, but you're actually right on top of it.
kids trying out their new go-kart Christmas presents. But yeah, we're kind of getting up into the hills now.
Those are the hills on like literally the west side of the city. So they overlook the city and they're like really right on top of it.
And a lot of these houses are just pretty stunning. Oh, here we are. We made it back to Shattuck. I'm not exactly sure how we did that, but let's keep going uphill. So anyways, my point is that you can fall asleep watching this, but I can't because I'm driving. And also, it kind of gives you like that feeling
I'd
of
be
you
closer
can't
to,
really fall asleep when
downtown
you're driving
and
normal.
everything rather than isolating away from other people. I'd be moving closer to where the action is in the city. I wouldn't want to be moving away from the industrial centers. I'd be wanting to move closer to them and everything to see what was going on downtown and be closer to it so I could actually take place, and engage in events and everything because all the really cool stuff that happens downtown, and everything like this. Ugh.
And I am always looking for new events to vend at. It's been a while since I've
My body break, my heart give up. Why did darkness come? I felt the lightning shake me into hell. Why did darkness come? I wanna stay in here where I belong. Why did darkness come? Something keeps waking me.
The problem with Hannah Nealman and her content is that I want to fall asleep watching it. It is so incredibly boring and everything, and they want us to be all jealous of them. Not only that, but she's setting a terrible example for women and everything, and she's influencing them to engage in this predatory trad wife shit. Like Daniel is outright being exploited, and he's not doing even the least of anything that his wife actually wants to do and everything. And, honestly, you want to know my prediction? 10, 20 years from now, he'll just dump her and trade her in for another one. Because why wouldn't you if you had that much money? But her life and everything, and the life that she leads, to me, would be hell. And the fact of the matter is that if I had a dramatic, upswing in my, profits or my, I don't know, my investment started to mature and went way, way the fuck up and everything, and there was dramatic reversal in fortunes, I would want to be closer to the events that are happening and the conveniences of civilization rather than further away and removed from it rather, and everything and more, like I live way, way out near like the Forest Grove area, which is like distantly removed from downtown. I would be moving out east into the West Hills of, that overlook the city itself, not just for the views, but for the fact that, if you wanted to go downtown from the West Hills, it would be so easy. And there's all kinds of cool stuff that happens downtown and everything, and so that would be great. You know, so basically, what I'm telling you is that I'm an urbanist. I prefer city life. I find country living to be hellish. I'm not interested in it. It doesn't sound fun. And every time I watch some stupid video about Hannah Nealman basically milking a cow, I want to fall asleep because I'm so fucking